Good afternoon. We're sitting here in the reading room at Madoc Library, and Harold Brintnell and I are just having a little chat. And I suspect that Harold Brintnell is one of the oldest citizens of the village. Harold?
Yeah.
How old?
Well, I'm 93 now, and I came here after I was discharged from the Navy in April of 1946. But I didn't start to work in Madoc until St. Patrick's Day of 1947.
Okay, so he doesn't go back that far, just working in Madoc since 1947.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what was it when you got out of the Navy? What was the going wage?
A going rate?
Yeah,
Wage?
yes.
Oh, I don't know. I suppose, well, I know there were clerks in Madoc that were working on $30 a week.
$30 a week.
Yeah, and they were returned men,
Yeah,
and that was,
I'm raising a family.
yes, that's right.
Yeah. So where did you start to work then in Madoc?
For Charlie Johnson, the druggist,
Okay, in 47.
47.
And you go back almost as far as I can remember then. Harold Brintnell was always in one drugstore or the other in Madoc that I can remember.
Yeah.
So if we took a bit of a stroll down Front Street, it's nice to be in here where it's comfortable in a winter day and go for a walk. Every store is different than now pretty much, I suspect. What was on the
Yes,
corner?
There's nothing on the street anymore. Yeah, okay, on the corner, there was a chap from Belleville, Thompson. He was a funeral director down in Belleville. I just forget his first name at the moment. But on that corner and heading down, well, I guess there were, you might say, a door entrance to that place off Durham as well as off St. Lawrence. And it was a dry goods store there. He had all kinds of yard goods and so on like that.
Okay, and then?
And then next to him was the big building that McCoy's Grocery was in.
Okay.
The store on the left-hand side as you go in, that was Bill Scrutton's barbershop
Barbershop, okay.
store. That would be Ken Connor and his dad, Will.
Yes. I remember that one well.
Do you?
Yes.
What happened?
Well, I just remember being in there and loving that all those drawers and the ladder that went up where they had all the different,
Right to the ceiling.
right
Yeah.
to the same thing.
They
Yes.
moved the ladder along.
Yes, and it went along, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that'd draw a young lad's attention.
Well, yeah, and the rope came up through the floor from coils of rope in the basement. They cut off what you needed. I'm dating myself. I'm not quite to the 93, but I can remember it. So it was a fairly large hardware store.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And they would have something in the back, tinsmithing or something?
Yes.
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 A lot of them did.
Yeah.
And that's getting us down to now what would be, where are we down the street now? Ken Connors
Well, the
and
next one was Tufts and Kelly.
Tufts and Kelly.
Yes.
Yes, and that was,
Well, Tufts and Kelly were the funeral directors
oh,
in Madoc, and that was the furniture store.
okay, drugstore.
Those two small stores were, one was occupied already by a jeweler, Nick Sampson.
Oh, is that right?
Nick and his wife, and he had a watchmaker there as well. You see, in those days they they repaired
These
watches.
things had to be cleaned all the time, didn't they?
Well, yeah, that's right.
Every year or so you had to take it in and have it cleaned.
Yeah.
It sure does change.
Yeah. Well, then next you see is the Oddfellows blog.
Block, yes.
With some apartments up above it, and on the third floor was the lodge
Lodge room.
room
Okay.
Our fellows lodge.
and a dining hall, a reception
Okay,
place there.
yes, yes.
Wedding receptions.
Oh, is that right? Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there was no wheelchair accessibility. You had to climb the stairs, didn't you? Or you didn't go.
Yeah, and they were high ceilings, so
Yes.
you see, you had about 17 steps to get on the top floor.
Yeah, so they were,
Or rather, the first.
they would have been above what
Now, yeah, they were.
I knew was Rupert's drugstore.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, yes, they were there. Rupert's store had been Reardon's store, not O'Riordan that we have.
But Reardon.
Rear, R-I-E-R-D-O-N.
Reardon, yes.
He was a Belleville chap. I met him once. I met him, well, this is, I guess it would be about 1945 maybe. No, it wouldn't be 45, I was in the Navy then. It was earlier than that anyway,
Yeah.
before I went in the Navy.
Yeah,
That's
mhm.
that's right, that's when it was.
So he owned that drugstore.
And he owned the store, yes.
Okay.
And Tom had been his apprentice.
Okay, so
At one
Tom
Yeah,
worked for Reardon.
yeah. And
Okay.
then he eventually bought him out. Okay, now he was a colonel. He was a Belleville man, and he was of the Reardon's coal and fuel family down there. They were
Okay.
quite well-known people.
Okay.
He had a couple of sisters, I believe, as well. But anyway, the colonel had those letters put in. It's either 1921 or 1922. Yeah, they were embedded into the concrete. I'll tell you the story about the colonel. Did you ever hear it?
No, tell me.
Well, he was a major in the battalion or whatever it was in Belleville. I don't know whether it was the 49th or the 155th or one of those. See, the Hasty Peas weren't formed.
They evolved from one of those brigades or battalions. Yeah,
that's right. Yes, I had a great uncle that was in the 49th, and I have a cornet that was in the 155th band.
My goodness.
Once in a while I give a little toot.
And you can still play it, I'll bet.
Oh, not as well. Anyway, he, in the First War, he raised 2 battalions.
Wow.
You see, he would do the recruiting. And I don't know whether it was for the 155th or the 49th, but anyway, it was for something like that. And anyway, he wanted to go overseas. And I guess because of his age, or I don't know, when I met him, he appeared to be fairly well and healthy for his age. He was getting elderly at that time. But the point is, they wouldn't let him go. So he goes over to England by himself.
Goodness gracious.
And he hits up the British Army for a job. And he got in, of course, and he was overseas. He was wounded.
Is that right?
Yes, he was. He was wounded. But when he came back, he was a colonel. But he went over a major and came back a colonel. So I don't know what his relationship with the current militia of the day was, but anyway, that was the story, you see. And he came back to Madoc after that, and he was quite a colorful figure.
Good.
And he hired a pharmacist of the day to run the store for him
While he was
while he was there.
overseas.